The morning of December 16th, it was so hot, and I mean hot, that if you put your favorite Yuki Nagato figurine on the ground, it'd melt until nothing remained.
It's so fucking hot.
It was nice and cool up until the end of November, but once December hit, the temperature rose super fast. It felt like the old gods were looking down at me and laughing at our never-ending days of 40-degree heat. Great, now I'm bringing in religion into the mix. Well, whatever. It's not like anything's going to happen to me anyway.
Oh, hey pal. Hey, what's up?
Nah, nothing much. Actually, I've noticed you've been disappearing a lot recently. What's that about?
I'm sure it's just your imagination. Anyway, you got that look on your face. What's going on?
Disc has been getting hyped up all morning.
Oh, about the you know what?
You know it.
Well, good luck with that. Just try not to forget about it.
Yeah, thanks. The you know what, huh? Oh, brother. Try not to forget it? How's that even possible? It's easy. When the person starting this thing makes it his mission to keep track of such things. He's the whole reason I got into this situation. Yeah. Him. What am I doing? This is my room. Ugh. Oh, it's just UMC? Being a 90s kid, growing up with anime in the early 2000s would be the golden age of anime, bringing with us some cult classics that even to this day are some of the top 100 best anime of all time. And for those who were watching anime back in 2006, you probably would have seen or at least heard of Haruhi Suzumiya, who, except for me, because at that time I was watching, I'm not sure how I missed it, even though I had limited access to the internet at the time, so I just ended up finding obscure shows to watch. Haruhi became an internet icon that exploded in popularity, becoming the most popular anime of 2016 in Japan. It was everywhere, cosplay, memes, in the ever so popular Hare Hare Yukai dance. But you can't deny that it was one of KyoAni's most successful projects. Like most shows, I watched The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya back in 2012, and I didn't think very highly of it. I mainly boiled it down to, it's not really funny, pretty generic, and the plot makes no sense. including a character making it on a spot on my top 15 most hated characters list. It wasn't until just a few weeks ago when I rewatched it that I changed my opinion of it. Now I pretty much think the exact opposite of what I used to believe. The results of growing up, I suppose. So with that said, and in the spirit of Christmas, I bring you 2019's ultimate Christmas movie, The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. It comes as no surprise that KyoAni absolutely nailed this movie. Everything from the tone, the pacing, and how easily it transitions from the last episode into the opening act. That is, if you were watching the show in chronological order. There's so much attention to detail in this film, such as neat little Easter eggs like pictures from the Endless Eight. Haha, remember those days? Good times! The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya takes place directly after the final episode of Season 1, so if you're watching this in the broadcast version like I did, I'm so sorry! It opens up to Kyon dealing with the cold of winter, and preparing for Haruhi's Christmas party, until one day, she disappears. No, but in all honesty, the story was incredible. There were many points in the movie where I didn't even know what was going to happen next, and I loved every minute of it. It keeps you on your toes and demands your attention when they start getting into the nitty-gritty of the events that have transpired. The animation is mind-blowing, plain and simple. It still holds up even 10 years after it was released. This will hold up for generations to come on how well animation can stand the test of time. I love how expressive the characters are, from the way Kyon sits down to the way Nagato wears her emotions on her sleeve. And holy shit, those individual hairs, son! While there wasn't a lot of music for a big chunk of the first act, whenever it did play, it hit hard. I find it very rare to watch a movie where the music sticks to me like that, and Haruhi is no exception. In fact, you're listening to it right now. And while we're on the topic of audio, I haven't watched Haruhi in Japanese yet, and I don't feel like I ever really need to. All the actors do an excellent job with bringing the characters to life, which has also helped with actually talented actors behind the mic. The dub is a product of the time, back when dubs used to be good or even half decent. Unlike now, where the industry is filled with left-wing pundits, backstabbing scumbags, and companies with their heads stuck up their own arse. I don't see this as a downside, but I can see if some people do. And that is that the first hour of the movie can be quite slow, so you could end up nodding off with the lack of music in that time. But in my case, I find it very complementary to the show's fast pace and comedic tone, where without Haruhi's insanity, the world is a dull place as we look at it from Kyon's perspective. So whenever you hear people talk about this movie being slow at times, don't get discouraged. If you love the Haruhi franchise, you'll certainly be captivated by this film. Although I will say that this movie's biggest flaw is that you have to watch both seasons before watching The Disappearance. If you're a fan of the show, then you won't have this problem. But if you didn't enjoy it, then I would imagine some of you would have dropped the show before getting to this point. But I would say to power through it, because I feel like sitting through and watching the whole show, you're rewarded with this absolutely fantastic movie. If you want a fan of Haruhi's lighter tone and prefer something a bit more serious, then I'd say this movie is worth a watch. Bringing this review to a close, The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya is a wonderfully crafted animated feature that lives up to all expectations of the people who watched the show back in 2006. And still holds up so many years later. I watch this movie every single Christmas, and I've never gotten tired of it. Let's hope that one day KyoAni will adapt the rest of the light novels, cause good luck trying to get your hands on them, or just learn Japanese to read the Japanese version. But until then, that's all I've got for you today. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all when I see ya. Now that review is taken care of, and the end of the decade is here, I've got to get ready for this war. We haven't decided when that's gonna happen yet. Well, I've still got some time. I'm not saying I have a lot, but it's not like I have to go right now. You got that, world? You don't mind if I have a little break before it all goes down, do you? Oh well. At least wait until Disc makes another announcement video, okay?
No.